Yep, y'all want to be in the video?
I'll check. You can't move around though.
Yeah, I know. I'm right in this area right here. All right, so teams. First and foremost, our goal is to have, we usually don't go, we did this past year, but we're going to have multiple teams at each age group. Quite likely. We may not have multiple teams at 12, and we may not have multiple teams at 18 or 17. But we typically always have multiple teams from 13s to 16s. We always have multiple teams. Now, at the same time, I want to assure you that we're going to make it a priority. We do make it a priority. We've tried some things some years, y'all, but we're going to make it a priority. We're not throwing a team together just to throw a team together. Unfortunately, we've done that before. Just put a team together because there was a bunch of them still wanting to play, and we didn't have a place for them. We did, and it didn't end up being a really good experience. It's just, it's unfortunate. So we're going to do our best to make sure that they're quality teams that we're putting on the court. And unfortunately, some people will make teams, some people will not. But multiple teams at each age level. Practice. Information about practice. Practice will be a minimum of 2 hours, 2 times a week, 2 hours per practice. All right? Our primary practice facilities are here at Westminster, Athens Sports Arena, which is out off Atlanta Highway behind the Restore store. I don't know if you know where that's at, but it's out off Atlanta Highway. These two are primary facilities. We also use some other facilities, including North Oconee, Oconee County High School, and we're trying to get another location as well to be at our disposal so we can use, so that we can make sure we've got all the space that we need, because if we continue to grow as a club, we need more space. We need more space. Official practices will begin once the school season is complete. That's October for middle school and November for high school. All right? What we will do is once we have tryouts and once we make offers and form teams, we will have open gyms every Sunday from that point forward until the practice season starts. Again, the practice season begins in October for middle school, November for high school. It's at the end of the school season. Now, we will also have an additional tryout for middle schoolers in October, because our experience has been that a lot of times when kids are just starting to play the game, obviously parents want to make sure the kids play a year of school ball and enjoy it and that type of thing before they spend money to play club. So there are a lot of kids that their first time playing volleyball is going to be on the middle school team, and so we give them an opportunity to have a tryout in October. Practices will primarily be on Sundays and Wednesdays, and also possibly another day of the week. It all depends upon gym space availability and the number of teams we have. Now, for the most part, most of our teams will practice Sunday and Wednesday. But like I said, gym space, number of teams, all these things, it may end up being, a Sunday and a Tuesday, or a Tuesday and a Wednesday, or something like that. You okay? But our goal is to put together a schedule to be as consistent as possible, to the degree that we can. We want to put together a practice schedule that's consistent. Because listen, I'll tell you, I can count on less than one hand. Less than 5 times this year, we had to move teams because, for example, Westminster will let us know, I'm sorry you can't use the gym this coming Wednesday night because we're doing this. Well, suddenly I've got to move all 4 or 5, I guess we usually have 4 teams, all 4 teams on a Wednesday night out of here and put them somewhere else. That happens sometimes, but not very often. Not very often. Like I said, I can count on one hand the number of times it happened this year. So that kind of gives you an idea of practice. All right, extra training. One of the things we do here at Metro is we have a partnership with an organization, a gym here locally. They have a location here in South Oconee, one in North Oconee, and also one in Lake Oconee. It's called Core Blend Training. All right, we work with them, and they have some sessions that are specifically for Metro athletes, for our Metro players. And they're led by trainers who understand how to develop volleyball athletes, okay? They know how to develop volleyball athletes. This is going to be available to you once we get started. Once or twice a week is your choice, and that's also going to affect how much it's going to cost. Understand it's not free, but it is at a tremendous discount price-wise from what their normal training goes for, what we're able to get it by us working with them. Specific times, these will be set, all right? So there'll be like 2 different sessions per week. You'll sign up, you'll register in advance, and you'll pay for, say you'll pay for 3 weeks, or you'll pay for a month, or however they set it up for you to pay for a certain number of sessions, and all that will come out, figuring out how much you pay. Does that make sense, y'all? Okay. Tournaments, all right. Teams will play in 8 to 9 tournaments. The schedule will be based on the skill level of each team, whether it be a national team or a regional team. At ages where we have likely at ages, make sure I'm standing for the camera, likely we'll have a nationals team and a regional team at ages where we have multiple teams, okay? And you say, what's a nationals team? Well, some organizations, their national teams travel all over the place. That's really expensive. And so we just don't necessarily do that. We do some travel, but not that much. But our nationals teams will go to nationals in June, okay? That's something we're wanting to really emphasize that and get our ones teams going to nationals this year. We've had it as optional in the past, but we really want to change that and make sure that these, it be an experience for them, as well as many of them, at least at this point in time, and they still have, they have these aspirations. They want to play in college. And especially once they get into high school, they need to be going to nationals. Coaches are all over the place. National and regional teams will have slightly different schedules. A few of the matches will be a little bit different. A few of the tournaments will be a little bit different. We're likely going to have between 1 and 3 AAU/USAV qualifiers, okay? I can't give you the exact schedule yet because all of the tournaments are not published yet, okay? I know I've been on the internet a lot this past week trying to work on schedule and looking at things, and so I'm not 100% certain. We're pretty close with the schedule, but I'm wanting to make sure of a few things before we finalize that. But it's likely to be 1 to 3 AAU and or USAV qualifiers. 1 to 3 out of state, okay? And when I say out of state, I'm talking about the surrounding states, okay? We're not traveling halfway across the United States. We're just not doing that. Just don't think it's quite necessary, okay, at this point. Now, I'll also let you know that both the individuals you have here, this is Coach Brooks. Coach Brooks is a former college coach at 2 different universities, Georgia Southern and UAB. I also work as a national recruiter. My primary job is I work with a national recruiting organization, so I work with high school athletes to get them recruited to play college. Brooks knows recruiting because he did it. Okay, so us 2 individuals working together here for players, we understand what they need and what's important and what's not so important, and we talk about things all the time and bounce things off of each other. But there's also the aspect of once they start getting into high school, we're here to help provide some direction, some guidance as far as how to get recruited. Like I said, all right, regional teams will be early to mid-January through the beginning of May, and then national teams will be early to mid-January through nationals, which are in June, okay? Schedule will be finalized once the teams are set and the tournament dates are all published. Nationals in June. National teams ages 12 to 18 will go to nationals, okay? Those are the ones teams, the national teams. They will go to nationals in Orlando, Florida. It'll be in June. So the cost for those teams, those players, the cost for nationals will be included in your player fees for those players, okay? Other teams can, if they want to, if the families get together and say, hey, let's stick together and let's go to nationals, by all means. We will support you and we'll help you get there. If you're on a twos team, a regional team, you're welcome to go to nationals too. Coaches, we've got very high level coaches. Coaches, we do some coaches training. College coaches come in and do training with our coaches, as well as we've also got a former college coach right here, former high school coach who's got a lot of experience. But our coaches are very experienced in the fundamentals and skill development. Okay, it's going to be coaches that have college coaching experience, high school coaching experience, club coaching experience. All of them have played high school and club. Many of them have played in college. These are the type of individuals that coach for our club and we'll be coaching your players. We're working on putting some things together for our coaches blueprint. Basically what that's gonna be is our goal is that from the time they're 12 to the time they're 18, they're being taught the same way, the same thing, okay? Now, that doesn't mean it's not gonna get more advanced. It simply means, you know, if we're trying to use keywords, code words, things like that, of things that we want to make sure we're building in these players, we don't want every coach they play with to get something totally different, okay? Players, 10 to 12 players a team is ideal. We don't typically go over 12, and we don't typically go under 10. Reason for that is variety. There's a variety. One is it provides for a more efficient and useful practice for coaches to have the players. And to be honest with you, I'll tell you this, and I know that it might be kind of hard to grasp, but practices are more important than tournaments, okay? Because practices is where they are honing the skills and going into detail and learning how to perform what they need to perform. Then they go out on the court and they don't think about it, okay? But it's in practice when they learn to do things the right way, okay? Because you can't get a kid on the court and get them all focused on exactly how they're doing it, exactly, or you have this perfect 4-step approach in a match. Count your steps. No, you can't do that in a match. Just hit the ball, jump and hit the ball. But in practice, you can focus on these things. So practices are very important as far as development of players. We also have every year, we have players that get injured and end up not being able to finish the season. And truth be told, we also have every year players quit. And it just happens. People quit sometimes on the things that they committed to. So, all right. Along in the players aspect, while every coach desires to be as fair as possible, not every player is going to receive equal playing time. It just doesn't work out that way, okay? Coaches will determine playing time. They're the ones responsible for making those decisions. And it'll be based on hard work, ability, performance, attitude, circumstances, compatibility, game time situations. There's so many factors that play into who plays and when. Okay, I guess it was you and I that were talking yesterday. But it's, you know, somebody's like, well, why isn't this person playing over that person? Because this person's stats are better. Well, you pointed out. Why don't you tell what you told me yesterday? Do you remember?
Yeah. So, hey, I'm Brooks. I met some of you. I did a great job reading you. Remember? So, yeah, club is supposed to be fun, right? Club is supposed to be engaging. These are children. Right? We want your kids to grow and develop. You're also investing in this. We also want your players to, they earn their playing time, both during practice as well as during tournaments. And so some people view stats differently. We have Huddle, so I kept stats. I'm somebody who I like to see trends. I like to know, okay, if I'm playing this type of right side hitter, should I have this outside blocking or should I have this? Stuff you don't care about, but stuff that I take way too seriously. I can go and watch Coach O's team or go and watch Aslan's team and see, and I'll think, hey, why are you not playing this person versus playing this person? Because I see something from 5 minutes of watching a match, but Coach O has been coaching them all season long. He's been looking, he says, well, you don't understand this, this, and this. So please, please, please understand it. Are you getting into no, we're not even talking about that today. You're their parents, right? You love them more than we do. We will love them, but you love them more than we do. Please, 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 and you won't. It'll happen, guaranteed. Please trust us to know we're doing what we coach. I want to win. I love winning, right? Winning is not the most important thing, but it's very, very close to the most important thing, all right? And so if I am playing this person's daughter over your daughter in a certain situation, it's not because I don't like your daughter. It's not because I don't know what I'm doing. It really is because I'm thinking this is the best for this situation. So, and I do want to highlight real quick, the 12 players, I love having 12 players on my team because I believe very much in drills, I believe very much in skills, but I really, really believe in competing. And so if I can practice 6-on-6 every single practice, if I can finish my last 45 minutes in true game-like atmosphere, it makes everybody better. It does make it harder when only 6 players are playing on a court at the same time. I do really try to get all players in to every single set. Doesn't happen every time, but I really do because I believe the girls have earned that right. But I will say, again, what were we talking about stats?
Just the aspect of, like, you're, say, for example, this person's playing and you don't really understand why, so you
Yes.
ask a question. And he says, well, that person, those stats are based upon this circumstance, and it's not that necessarily that
Right.
situation.
And so, and again, I will say, as a coaching staff, we do all talk with one another because, like, if I'm coaching 16s this year, I want to watch the 15s play, and I want to watch the 14s play because I want to see, hey, who will I have 2 years from now? Who will I have 3 years from now? Or the 17s coach, I can say, hey, listen, I really like what this person did here. This person needs to work here. We want to build this player for the next 6 to 8 years, not just, okay, I have them for 6 months and then they're done. So please know, stats, I've even had parents that keep stats. That's great. Keep your own stats. Please don't come to me with your stats. Because I promise you, I also keep them. And I had one girl, her parents, she was a good kid. Her parents kept all the negative stats of all the other players. Ooh, I pulled for all these girls. But that was a way that I did not necessarily pull as hard for that girl, because don't be that parent, okay? Please don't be the parent that keeps the bad stats for other kids. Sorry, I went off a tangent there.
That's right.
12 players, teams, that's the way to go. 10, yes, everybody gets played more. 12 is the way to go, sorry.
You're fine. All right, so players' goals may range anything from being a middle school player, middle school contributor, high school contributor, all the way up to being a college player. And as I said here, last year, close to 75% of all of our Metro high school players made a varsity roster. So it's something that and then over the last 8 years, we've had more than 50 players that played for Metro go on to play in college. Some of you may have, for example, when you walked in the gym, you saw a group of about 3 or 4 that were playing on that side. All those were college players that have played for Metro, and they come in here to work during the summer, so they're staying sharp before they go back to school in a month and a half. So, all right, code of conduct. There will be a code of conduct and a parent-player contract provided to all those who are part of the program. It'll be laying out the expectations concerning financial responsibility, personal responsibility, which also includes actions and behavior. This will have to be signed, and we'll keep it on file. All right. Club fees. It's going to range anywhere from $3,400 to $4,400, depending upon the team. Now understand that high side is for national teams. So it's for the regular season, but then also the extra season that's added on, okay? Because they're going to play on into June. The Nationals are in Orlando, Florida. Just going ahead and preparing you if your kid makes a ones team and you accept the offer. It'll be in June, and so that also includes the costs for Nationals. This covers everything that they need to play for Metro, all their jerseys, their practice shirts, practice time, practice space, 3 jerseys. Let's see, what do I have here? Let me make sure I get it all right. Got to go to the right page. Travel warm-up, travel bag, training items. The thing that it doesn't include is for the player and their family traveling to the location and their lodge. Okay? Also, let me let you know this. While some players may very well receive an offer during tryouts, they may. Understand this also. For example, if your kid's offered a spot during tryouts, coach pulls you aside, offers you a spot during tryouts. Official offers will be sent out through email. Okay? And then we will expect you to respond to that offer as an official acceptance. Okay? Telling you how it's going to work. Then, understand that there will be a $750 deposit due by July 15th. Okay? Now, what you can do if you choose to do, you can pay it all at one time. No problem. Or you can choose to break it up, pay the deposit, and break the remainder of it up over 6 months, which is August, September, October, November, December, and January. Okay? And all those payments will be due on the 15th of the month. All right, so deposit due on the 15th, and starting in August, you can begin making payments. Failure to remain current on your fee payments will affect the player's term. I mean, it's just, we have bills we have to pay, we have coaches we have to pay, we have rental facilities we have to pay, we have tournament fees, we have all those different things. Let you know, we will have fundraisers. There was a lot of questions surrounding fundraisers last year, so I want to try to hit on that here for a few minutes. We will do multiple fundraisers. One fundraiser will be geared towards assisting players in raising fees to pay their raising funds to pay their fees, okay? We will do one fundraiser that's for that, so that everything you raise in that will go to you to help pay your fees, okay? We will also do a fundraiser that is for the club to raise funds, because we have a variety of different things that come up every year. Number one, we scholarship a lot of players, whether it be a small amount. There are some players who we've scholarshiped their entire amount if they're in a dire hardship situation. We do require information about situations before we just pass out money. But we commit ourselves to not letting money keep somebody from playing. Okay, so we want to work with you. So we have that issue. Then there's always a breakdown of equipment. I got a real feeling I'm fixing to have to buy some new equipment for the gym here. I haven't been pressed on that yet, but I got a feeling. And other unexpected expenses. For example, every year, as I mentioned earlier, players get injured and can't finish the season. And if, let's say they haven't even played half the season, I'm not going to make them pay 100% of the fees. I'm just not going to do that when they can't finish the season. It's just not the way I'm going to. But that doesn't reduce the cost of running the club just because that one player gets hurt. Or, for example, as I mentioned, people quit and then they don't want to pay their fees. And so then we have to go through a whole issue with that too. And there's a lot of unexpected things that come up every year. We choose not to guess at it and tack it on to all the fees on the front end and make you pay for it. What we choose to do is do a fundraiser to help raise funds to help pay for those unexpected expenses that come up, and they do every year. Every year they come up. Examples: cash calendar, text fundraiser, traditional raffle, 50-50 raffle, reverse raffle, all these different things. These are different types of fundraisers that we may do. All right, tryouts. Here's the tryout schedule. Tryouts will be here at Westminster, Sunday, July the 6th, 2 weeks from today. 3 to 5 is the 13 and under. Yes, we will have a 12s team and a 13th team. 5 to 7, ages 14, 7 to 9, ages 15. Then Monday from 6 to 8, it may go longer. It likely will go longer because we're going to get them all in here at the same time. Ages 16 to 18 will be here on Monday night starting at 6 o'clock. Then on Wednesday, we'll have makeups and callbacks. Now, we may ask your player to come back for a callback. That doesn't mean we don't like them, or it doesn't mean it just simply means we're still trying to figure out where exactly they fit, okay? And if they, what team, because our goal, understand, is to put the best teams together, but it's always, also, you have to understand that it's position specific, okay? For example, we don't need 3 setters on one team. We only need 2, okay? And that's if the coach either is gonna run a 6-2, or they're gonna run a 5-1, but if that setter gets hurt, they gotta have a backup setter. So, they may be a really good setter, they're just not the best setter, okay? So they may end up on the 2 team. And it's the same thing with hitters, with middles, with DSs and liberos, okay? So understand all that. We may invite your child to come back for makeups, doesn't mean anything bad, okay? We're still trying to figure out where everybody fits. So makeups will be on Wednesday the 9th, 6 to 7:30, ages 14 and under, 7:30 to 9, ages 15 and up. And then we're going to do an additional makeup callback on Sunday, because I've gotten so many calls and emails from people who are out of town that whole week. 14 and under from 4 to 5 on Sunday the 13th, and 15 and up from 5:30 to 6:30. Then, as I mentioned, I did mention that earlier in this meeting, that we're going to have a second round for the middle school, right? Okay. I've talked to so many people, y'all, and over the last few days, it's like, I don't remember, did I have this conversation with them, or did I even have that conversation? All right. Important note, holding additional tryouts for players not able to make initial tryouts, yes. Some teams may not be finalized until the end of the school season, like those middle school teams, because we will have more people trying out. So we can't guarantee teams will be finalized until that point. Players may be offered a specific spot on a specific team, or they may be offered for an age group, because we're still trying to figure out where everybody fits. Metro does retain the right to remove player from one team to another based on team and individual player needs. Okay? And last page, commitment night. Sunday, July 27th, here at Westminster, we will have commitment night. And that's a night where it's a required event. And all the players and coaches will come together. The players are gonna get together in their teams, they're gonna have a meeting together with their coaches, they're gonna meet each other, they're gonna hear from their coaches, and then they're gonna get out there and they're gonna play some volleyball, okay? And we'll have some snacks and all that stuff, kind of make it a fun night, okay? That'll be commitment night, that's gonna be Sunday, July the 27th. It is a required event. Finally, recruiting. We will have a Huddle account. Huddle, if you're not familiar with it, just remember, you'll hear about it. Huddle is an online program organization that provides where we're able to store all videos. We video every single match, okay? You're able to go into Huddle and create highlight videos if you so choose, especially for those who are of recruitable age and trying to get recruited in high school. They have, especially when you get in high school, your kid is going to have a Huddle account when they get in high school. Because pretty much every high school has a Huddle account. And they post their schedules and their teams and everything, and they keep their school videos on the Huddle account. All right, so we do that as well. Every match will be recorded. We will do a recruiting seminar in the fall for those of recruiting age. And then in-depth recruiting assistance is provided at an additional cost. Now understand, that is basically, the difference is we'll do a thing where we kind of tell you what to do and how to do it. But if you want us to take you by the hand and walk you through that entire recruitment process, that's a little, okay? Because I've done that, like I said, I work for a recruiting agency, I've done that for 8 years now. All right, questions? That's the end of these sheets. Questions, anyone? Anything? So I did a pretty good job, huh? Yes.
Talking about the official offer that's emailed out, how long do we have to respond with an official acceptance?
I would say we'll probably specify. Good, great question, because we have to consider that other players are waiting. So I would say probably within 24 hours. And the quicker, the better, because we could get real itchy. I mean, it's the reality. I mean, it's, you know, there are going to be players that are sitting there waiting for an offer, but they're not getting an offer because your child got an offer, okay? And if y'all drag that out, that's not, and they're trying to decide, okay, am I going to get an offer here, or do I need to go play over here at this club because they've already offered me, but I really want to be here. You see what I'm saying? So we ask that you respond as quickly as possible. Because, and like I said, some people will get offers on the spot. If you don't get an offer on the spot, it doesn't mean you're not getting an offer, okay? It's really hard for us to get to every single player in the gym that we're going to offer on the day of trials. It's just hard to do. So you'll see us, go ahead and give you a heads up, you'll see us standing over to the side and we're talking with a parent and a player. We may be talking to them, we may be making an offer to them, we may be asking them their desires and their goals to see, are they a better fit for a ones team or a twos team, you know? But if we don't make an offer to you on the spot, that doesn't mean you're not going to get an offer. Offers will go out I would say within 24 to 36 hours after trials. They will go out, okay? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
After original tries or after you do all the makeups and callbacks?
Those who try out the original tryouts, there will be offers sent out that Monday.
Okay.
And at the latest Tuesday, but I try to make sure it doesn't last until Tuesday. Now, when I get home Sunday night, I want to go to bed. Because I've just spent basically from about 2 o'clock to 9:30, 10 o'clock in the gym. So the offers probably won't go out Sunday night, but they will go out Monday. Yes?
How do you handle the middle school teams for commitment night if you're going to have additional trials in October?
Those who have already been offered and have committed to a team, they will be a part of commitment night. They'll join together with their teammates. There may still be 2 or 3 open spots available on that team. There may only be 9 or 10 versus 11 or 12. But those who have already been offered and accepted, they will get together with their teammates and their coach on commitment night. Yes. Yes. Anyone else? Yes.
So we're gonna be out of town, so the Sunday that you're doing the makeups, do we still register and just come in?
So you won't be here for the original or the makeup?
No, we'll be here for the new one, I guess, July 13th,
Okay.
so we just sign up like
Yes,
normal?
register.
Okay, Okay.
Register. It's important that you register for tryouts, because otherwise, we don't know you're coming. We have no idea that you're gonna be coming either on Wednesday or next Sunday. We have no idea, okay? And that may affect how we plan. So make sure you register for tryouts, yes.
On the 12th, are you thinking a mini season again, or are you thinking, depends on the kids, when you figure that out?
Sure. We're definitely gonna have a 12s team. We also would like to have a mini program.
Okay.
All right. Crystal, who ran it last year, is just, her schedule does not allow her to be consistent with running a mini program. We do have a new coach we've hired that's going to be running our 12U program. That's going to include the 12s team and mini. But the primary is going to be putting together a 12s team. And then we want to do mini again. Matter of fact, I was just on the phone with somebody yesterday at another club. We're trying to work together so that we can both have mini going on and we can have scrimmages and among clubs, because there are a few of us different clubs that are trying to work together to make that happen. So yes, we want to have mini. Will we? Eventually, yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
So when you get your email offer, does it say if you made a 1 or 2, or is it just your?
Most likely, like I said, most people will be offered a specific team. It is possible they may be offered an age group, because we're trying to figure out where everybody fits. Or because we also know, for example, how old's your daughter?
13, she'll be on the 14th.
She'll be on 14. So for example, we know on Wednesday night or Sunday, we've got these 10, 14-year-olds coming in. And so we may offer a space, but it may not necessarily be a team, because we're still trying to evaluate based on the others. But we've decided, yes, we want you in our program. We just may not know. Now that's not going to be the norm. Does that make sense? That's not what we normally do. We normally try to make sure we offer per team. But that is a possibility, especially when we know we got a bunch more coming in, which is always possible. Anybody else? I tell you, there's some clubs, and it's like they don't even tell you what team you're on until like months down the road. They just offer you a spot in an age group, and you know what I'm talking about.
Well, the worst thing that ever happened was nobody wants to try out in July, at least from a club standpoint. A club that I used to coach at, they're at Nationals right now in Orlando. USAV Nationals are next week in Dallas, so the club season is still going on. GHSA and SRVA got together for some reason and said, trials are now going to be in July. And it's horrible, because selfishly, I want to go and watch high schools play in August and September and see who's gotten better over our season. We spent 6 months together. Give the kids a break. Let's do that. But sadly, the reality is everybody now has to try out in July. And so it is so tough answering some of these questions, because we don't know what we have. That's why we do open gyms. That's why we do these things. And again, that's why we keep doing open gyms in August and in September, because in reality, your 13-year-old may come in and her day of a tryout, not her best moment. But we go and watch her play in August and in September, and you're like, wow, she actually should be on this team. She actually would be better. You know what? I looked at her at this one-day tryout as playing right side. She has really good hands. Maybe she's a setter. Maybe she should be a setter on this team. And so that's why we're trying out in July for something that doesn't start until October or November, and so and again, we don't want to do it. That's just the way that the rules have. We used to always try out in October and November. That was the best time to do tryouts, right after the high school season, and you got, again, a chance to see everybody. So we will try as best as we can. It is a little easier with some of the older ones, because we have watched them. They've grown up in the program, or they're coming from another club. We're able to see that. But there is that possibility that we do talk to you in September and say, hey, listen, we really think it's better for your child as well as for this team if they are on this team for this purpose. Does that make sense? I mean, again, it's we will do the best we can in these 2 to 4 hours of evaluating.
Yeah.
But your kids are going to grow in the next 3 months, and so there is that possibility for change there.
And I'll tell you, last year, basically what we did with the 12s and 13s is we didn't offer a specific team. We offered to be a part of the 12s and 13s because we know in October, there's gonna be another 50 athletes coming in here that play middle school volleyball, okay? And so we said, okay, these teams are not gonna be finalized until that point. Because it's just, again, it's very frustrating. I was on the phone with another club director yesterday, moving tryouts forward. And the truth is Georgia, the southern region was behind a lot of other regions in moving it to July. But basically, it couldn't be held until after school season was over. They eventually said, you know what? It can now be held as early as the first day after Nationals. And everybody went, boom. There are actually clubs having tryouts Friday night, July the 4th. Because Nationals finishes on the 3rd. And there are team clubs that are doing that. I'm like, all for you. But they're those really big clubs who really don't care. You know what I mean? So anyway, any other questions? Yes.
When will we know about the new coaches?
We'll know by tryouts.
By track?
Yeah, we're trying to finalize, we're done with about 80-90% of the staffs. We're trying to finalize a couple last minute ones, based upon what we're estimating we'll have as the number of teams this year. And of course, it's always a guess anyway.
Will you be sending out like an email introducing?
Sure, we can. I hadn't thought about that, but we'd be glad to send out an email to everybody who's signed up for registration saying these are who'll be coaching what programs, what clubs. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah. Anybody? Come on, let's get it out. All right. Oh, I saw that hand move. I was just rushed in here. All right. Well, listen, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. If I'm sure most of you probably have our email. If you don't, ask me. I can give it to you. If you have any questions between now and 2 weeks from now, just let me know. Email me. Let me know. I would highly recommend your kids being here in open gyms next week. It gives coaches an opportunity to see them and does not leave everything based upon 1.5 hour tryout. Okay? So, and if you know other people who they're going to come try out, because I already know there's a whole lot more than what's in here right now that are already registered for trials. So a lot of people are just going, I'll just watch it online. And that's fine. But your kid needs to be in open gyms. You need to be there because it gives him an opportunity to watch her play for a while, not just running a drill, and when he's got the pressure of having to evaluate in this 90-minute section. Okay? All right. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, if you need to pull me aside, you can do so. Thank you.